So hello, Devon. How are you?
I'm not too bad.
You're not too bad. So you've been a member of the sewing class for
2 years now?
2 years. Wow.
Two, maybe three. It might be
Okay.
closer to three now. Um, I started because my mum runs the class, and I was bored. That's what started it, was boredom, and then I started doing things like learning how to make t-shirts and a shirt. We did a shirt my first year here, learned how to do that, which was really interesting and handy if you kind of want something a bit unique. I'm a bit of an oddball. I like some more unique items of clothing, and being able to make that kind of stuff is quite nice. The sewing group also has access to embroidery, so you can get some funky logos. But
Okay.
what kept me in it and kept me going is doing airsoft equipment. I'm a player of airsoft, and it's quite an expensive hobby. I mean, some of the rigs and gear that we wear are anywhere from 90 to £400.
Wow.
So my mum turned around to me and says, "Why don't you make it?" So we started really simple. We started with slings for the guns.
Okay.
So that literally is just a loop and a hook. It's not complicated, but we started with those, and then went on to making a rig. And the first one that I made, which is this one that you see here, we did the pattern ourselves. We custom made the pattern. So I own a full rig or full battle vest for airsoft that is, one that you buy from like Amazon or from
Okay. Cool.
an airsoft shop. It's about £90 worth. So we took it apart and took the pattern off of it and then recreated it in our own camo material that we sourced and did all the work ourselves. It took me a year to make
Okay. Wow.
from start to finish. It simply because everything's handmade. So the pattern's handmade, everything's cut out by hand, all the molly's done by hand, the Velcro. We've got eyelets on these back pieces at the back. There is eyelets that hold, if I turn that round and lift this top up.
Okay.
We have custom eyelets so you can make it as wide or as thin as you want with paracord, and then that's all just Velcroed in. We did all the Velcro work. There's foam plates inside to make it comfier to wear. All the clips, all the webbing. We strengthened the inside with extra webbing so that it has more rigidity. It was all a learning process. So I had both the teachers in the class help me with certain techniques like doing the eyelets and clips Velcro, because the Velcro was a bit of a pain because you have to sew that on a little bit more carefully because the Velcro pulls at the thread on the machine, so it can snap thread and bend needles. And in the process of making this rig, I blew up a sewing machine. I actually set fire to one because I worked the sewing machine that hard that I said it was my own personal sewing machine.
Okay.
So I wasn't too worried. The sewing class has their own, all the way from like a really old heavy duty machine all the way up to an overlocker and standard machines like this one. But I went out and got my own machine. Well, I didn't get my own machine. My mum brought me my own machine, which I then subsequently went and set on fire. Because of the work I was doing quite heavy sewing with because some of this is 4 or 5 layers thick with what's known as interfacing, which makes it stiffer.
Okay.
And then I'm sewing through nylon webbing, which combined up and blunt needles.
Okay. So for any men out there that's thinking about creating their own sort of stuff from what you've mentioned, would you say that it's an easy process to jump into and start learning from scratch?
I was actually really surprised at how easy sewing actually is, because I mean, to be fair, it's sew in a straight line, sew around the corner, and learn the fancier stuff later. Okay. If you're looking to do, one of the big problems I have being over 6 foot is having trousers and tops to fit me. So buying something from like a charity shop and then customizing it to fit myself, one of the handiest wee things I learned. Wow. So we pick up trousers from a charity shop that may be the right leg length but too wide in the waist, because I always find that to find trousers to fit me, I have to go up a waist size for the extra leg length. The problem with that being, then they're too big for me and they just fall, I end up trousers falling off me and having to wear a belt all the time, which can become uncomfortable. So we take trousers in,
So you can customize them to
Yeah.
suit you. Yeah.
And if you find something that you really like, once you start to get confident in sewing, you can start to pick up, because patterns are really easy to read. Because they're all lined, they're sized, so you just cut out the size you want of the
Okay.
pattern, stick it on the fabric, and then cut it out and just follow the instructions. It's for any gentleman or woman that likes following instructions, like painting by numbers, Lego. I say Lego because there is adults that play with Lego. I'm one of them. But anything that you follow a set of instructions, sewing is no different. It's
Okay.
especially if you're making a garment for yourself, or you're making something like, because that's an actual pattern that we took. We just customized the pattern slightly, but
Yeah.
that's actually a pattern that my mum brought for her. So this whole custom rig here is made from a pattern. Standard pattern for a waistcoat, believe it or not. And what we did is we took the zip out and joined the front panel together to make one big panel, and then just customized the side panels a little bit so they weren't sewed together, to allow it to open on the sides so you can get into it. And that was the only difference we made on the pattern. And that's literally, instead of cutting the pieces out and cutting them separately, we cut them out together.
Okay.
So you end up with a symmetrical piece that works for what you do. So you can change the way the pattern, as you get more confident, you can change how the pattern works. But for simple like t-shirts and shirts and trousers and that, it's just follow by numbers.
Okay.
It's step 1 to step 6 or step 7 or however many steps there is, and you just follow it. The bit that you start to learn that can be a little bit more daunting is the different stitches that you get from the machine, which, if you come to our class, is taught to you before you start making anything anyway.
Oh, very good. So you literally need no prior experience.
Nope.
You can just throw
Absolutely
in.
not.
Oh, brilliant.
I started with knowledge of how to sew in a straight line because I used to help my mum when I was younger repair the machines. Because I'm very mechanically minded, so I used to repair the machines with my mum. And to repair them, you have to be able to see if they're working. So sewing in a straight line, which is pretty much drop the foot and press your foot on the pedal and it goes in a straight line. That was all the knowledge I had to 3 years later, being able to make custom rigs and slings. I've done t-shirt, well, it's more a shirt, but it came out a bit more like a t-shirt because of the fabric we used, and customizing or altering trousers and tops and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting because the end product, in a lot of cases, including with your rig, looks like something you would buy.
Yeah, that's something that's quite nice, is when you make something and someone says, "Oh, where did you buy that from?" Oh, I didn't, I made it.
Yeah.
So it gives you a good sense of accomplishment. And the thing with sewing is, a lot of people think it's a bit girly, but for me, it's not. It's a hobby. It's something to do, and it's something that saves me quite a bit of money. So when you're not looking, if you want to get into something or you want to do something, you're thinking, it's a bit expensive, or I don't really, you can make certain bits of it which bring the price down. So it allows you to go and do other things. I mean, I've played airsoft for as long as I have because I've been able to make my own stuff, which meant that I could spend more money on face protection or, ammunition for playing the games and stuff like that. Because some of the other auxiliary bits are quite expensive. So not having to pay out for the rigs meant that I could spend money more responsibly somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's also meant that I've been able to keep my hobby and still do adult things.
Okay.
Because adulting is hard. Adulting is hard. But in reality, having somewhere where for 2 hours, none of that matters. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. We're all a good bunch down here. We all sit and chat, and we're not worried about bills or day-to-day life or what's going on outside of this bit. It's all just a bunch of friends having a chat and a laugh, drinking tea and sewing.
And it's very easy to slide into because it's welcoming. It's a welcoming environment. Yeah,
I mean, like we've had 6 or 7 new people join over the time that I've been here, and this is such and such, and then we just kind of get on with it. Jokes are made, as normal, tea and coffee, and we just get on with it. And a lot of the time as well, if you're making a project for yourself, someone will have a similar interest into what you're making. So you can either pick up tips from them or give them tips if they're making something. So we help each other all of the time.
Okay, cool. So there's collaborative working.
Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of my time. It's like one of the ladies in our group was making a bag and was wondering how to do the handles. And it turned out how we did the handles was exact same, pretty much same way that I do my straps.
Okay.
So what I did was I lent her, well, I didn't lend her, I gave her a load of my webbing and then showed her how to do it.
Okay. So, a lot of the skills that you pick up and you learn are transferable through different projects.
Yeah, I mean, the clips and the webbing and stuff like that, great for making backpacks.